street gang or like street dance crew?
Your street dance crew, sorry.
Indy and the Rollin' 88s.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's fancy. That's better than anything I can come up with.
What's yours going to be called?
I was going to say like the Glitter Crew.
The Glitter Crew?
Yeah.
Not even like the Glitter Girls?
No.
With a Z?
No, because crew sounds more tough, like we're dancing in the streets.
Oh.
Glitter Girls.
But streets with a Z.
Glitter Girls sounds like we're like a school-based crew. And everyone knows those are no good.
I think either way you sound like you do crafts.
Yeah, we probably do some crafts.
A crafting crew.
Yeah.
You should just be called the craft crew.
Oh, I like that too.
And instead of dancing, you do crafts.
You're in charge of making up all the crew names from now on.
Well, since we're talking about dance crews, that means it's time for another episode of I Love This, You Should Too. Recording in a kitchen in central Edmonton, Alberta.
Woohoo!
And we are part of the Alberta Podcast Network, which is locally grown and community supported. I'm your host, Indy Half-Shirt Randawa, and with me is Samantha Boots with a Fur Hees.
That song is going to haunt me forever. I hate it so much.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
Just because of how ubiquitous it is?
It's everywhere, and it's overplayed, and it's not a good song.
Whoa. Throwing it down.
I'm coming out with it. Boots with the Fur. Not a good song.
Is that the actual name of it? I don't even know what it's called.
I actually don't know what it's called. I just know that they say boots with the fur a lot.
Well, as you can tell by now, we are going to be discussing the, let's say, dance classic? No, dance hit. Was it a hit? I think it was a hit.
I mean, it made $150 million at the box office.
That's a hit right there. We are discussing the dance hit, Step Up to the Streets, which I love the title of so much. I finally got to see it for the first time.
Yeah.
But before we get into dissecting this real gem of a movie and finding out if Samantha loved it as much as she thought she might, and my opinions coming from a real snobby perspective as I tend to do, let's first hear from our sponsors of the day, and that includes the Edmonton Community Foundation. And with Pod Power, our sponsors are making it possible for us to amplify the voices of Albertans and Alberta podcasters, and this episode, the Edmonton Community Foundation is helping us give a Pod Power shout out to Overdue Fines. You know how I always like to go with them because that is the podcast from the Edmonton Public Library, who I'm a bit of a fan of sometimes.
I feel like you're a low-key fan of the public library, yeah.
And in that podcast, Bryce Crittenden and Caroline Land host conversations about books, movies, music, pop culture, and other interesting news about Edmonton, and it's a great way to learn more about what's happening at EPL and about how you can use your library card to access all of EPL's in-person and online services, which could include a 3D printing class hosted by me. You should go sign up for that.
I want to do that one day.
It's for children, but you know what? I've had actually a few adults come in and they just try to like sneak in and be like, no, yeah, I'm not a 38-year-old woman. It's cool.
I'll just put my hair in pigtails.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
And if you want to listen to Overdue Fines, you can listen at epl.ca/podcast or wherever you are listening to us right now. And of course, I'm going to suggest you check out episode 42, all about horror movies, because I'm on that one. Or you can check out 98, which is about It's a Wonderful Life, which I'm also on. And I like both of the hosts. Our good friend of the show, Maria, works on that as well. She should be on this episode because she's... Oh, so you don't even know.
I don't know, but I like her, so...
She's like an actual dancer.
Oh, okay.
Like the stuff that they do in this movie, Maria can do all that.
Oh, she can?
Yeah, she's good. I've seen it happen.
I find that very impressive because I definitely would not be able to do any of the dancing in this movie.
I'm going to go out there and say it. Maria's better than these people.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, I look forward to see Maria dancing.
Maybe not Chase. Chase was good.
Was he?
I thought so.
Okay. We'll get to it. We'll get there.
Well, let's get there. So you got to choose the movie this week.
Yes.
And usually it's something that you love, but you hadn't seen this one.
No, so...
You just feel like you would probably love it.
We enjoyed Step Up #1. And so I thought, because you also talk about Step Up to the Streets like you've seen it, even though you haven't.
No, I didn't know anything about it.
Neither
I just
did
like the title.
I. So I felt like we should watch it just due to the fact that you like the title. So I thought we'd watch it this week, and hopefully it would live up to
The Streets.
to the streets, yes. So I hoped it would be as good as the first one and that we'd have like a fun time watching it, but I didn't enjoy it.
No, not at all.
Nah, it was like someone saw Step Up 1 and then made a home movie about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is like the home movie sequel of Step Up.
So do you think it looked bad? The acting was bad? The story was bad? What was bad?
Yes. I think that this movie definitely lacked proper character introduction and also just like people who could act.
But you think Step Up 1 had those things?
I thought it was much better.
I might push back on that.
Okay.
So this might be a surprise. I think I like this movie more than you did.
What?
Because this got away from trying to be good.
Right.
The first movie thought it was important. They're like, we're saying something here.
That's fair. I can see that.
And that's not a good movie.
No.
Neither of these are. They're both fun dance movies. Mm-hmm. This one tried less at being a proper movie and was just like, how about a bunch of dance scenes? And sometimes I kind of respect that more because they're not doing something they're going to fail at.
Right.
They do try to throw some messagey stuff in there. It's terrible. It's bad.
It is, yes. And I think that's what turned me off was because they were like, we're going to teach the kids lessons and then like didn't really do it.
And we'll have to get into those lessons because I think this is going to be an episode where it's not serious at all, but I think I'll have like one serious thing to say, and it's about these lessons and how misguided
Yes.
the attempts of this movie are. But at the beginning, and we'll probably go through this movie chronologically,
Yes.
but I just wanted to say, like, after the beginning sequence, I think I turned to you and I said, this movie's fucking awesome. That was the peak, however.
That was the peak.
It does peak in the first 5 minutes, and it is downhill from there.
Yes.
But I think there are fun things in it. I don't think it tries to do a lot, which is good because it can't do much. It's not a good movie.
No.
But I think it's fun.
Okay. I'm willing to like hear you out and maybe you will sway me to like it more than I did.
Thank you. That's what this podcast is for.
That is literally what our podcast is about. So if you were fortunate to not watch this movie, it stars Andy West as the main character who's pursuing her dream of becoming a street dancer.
Is that the actress's name or the character's name?
No, the actress's name is Brianna Evington. Evigan? Brianna Evigan.
That's her.
And her character she plays is Andy West. It's set in Baltimore, Maryland, like the first Step Up.
And like the first Step Up, there's a few characters from The Wire in this.
Oh, really?
So her, like, aunt guardian lady.
Yeah.
We don't get to see her outside of the house, and we don't know what her job is. But I assume she's this hard, grizzled cop from The Wire.
You think that this is like the other side of her life on The Wire?
Yeah. Little did we know that after doing all this stuff on The Wire, she goes home to this ungrateful child that she's taking care of.
Man.
Yeah. It's a hard life.
It is. Andy feels like she doesn't belong anywhere, and she lives with her guardian, her mother's best friend, Sarah.
Who's a cop.
Who's a grizzled cop on the hard streets of Baltimore.
Yeah.
She has a crew called the 410.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie kind of opens with a illegal street dance.
Well, first it opens with documentary footage.
Right, yes.
Which I was very thrown by. It starts with documentary footage and narration, which is not what you'd expect in this type of movie.
Not at all.
And I thought, like, oh, are we getting like Wild Style or something? I thought this would be something different. I thought it was a documentary on dancing. It is not.
No.
But then we get into the fun stuff.
Opening montage kind of ends, and then you're on the subway, and all of a sudden there's a flash mob of dance on the train.
But they're all undercover.
Yeah.
So you see this train full of people, and then one after another, they break character of like, oh, I'm scared. I'm just some little old lady.
Yeah.
And they're like, actually, I'm a crazy dancer.
Yeah. And then they turn around and they have masks on.
But I think everybody does that, so they may have been performing for no one.
Yeah.
I think they were all members.
My note was, suddenly everyone is a dancer. And so, like, how big is this crew? Is there like 45 people?
At some times, yeah.
Or is there like 3?
Well, I don't think there's ever 3.
Okay.
Even when we see them rehearsing, it seems like there's 20 of them.
Okay. That makes more sense.
But that sequence, I thought it was fucking great.
It was filmed really well. It was very cool to watch. And like the music and everything kind of went with it.
There's one move where a guy lays down on the floor and then kind of, I don't know how to say this, but he shakes himself.
He like vibrates
so
under
he
the
vibrates
bench.
sideways
Yeah.
underneath the seats, and that was my favorite thing of this whole movie.
I think that's when you turned to me and you said this movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah, because that was great. And then the cops come and they do this runaway, and they're all just crazy acrobats, so they're jumping from ledges
and doing like backflips off of things. They're not doing a very good job of running away from the cops.
Well, the cops couldn't get them because they were fucking acrobats.
Yeah.
They're scaling walls and jumping off from huge heights, and they're just fine because they're good like that.
So the police come, and like, why do the police want to get them?
Oh, because when we get back to Andy's house, we learn on the news they're like, dance vandals have struck again. Our city is under siege by dancers. They're reporting on dancing as if this is a Spider-Man movie and they're talking about the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't know what to do. We've never seen something like this before.
Rabid dancers everywhere.
In Baltimore, the murder capital of America, where someone's dying every 5 minutes, but the front page of all the newspapers and the leading story on the news is there are dancers plaguing the city.
Yeah. Those damn dancers. Always in people's way.
Is this actually the city from Footloose?
Okay.
Is it Footloose or Flashdance? I get those mixed up a lot.
It's Footloose. Footloose is the town where dancing is illegal.
So all dance movies since those 2 movies are one of the 2.
Right.
So again, I don't know which is which, but one of them, I think it's Footloose. There has to be a dancer who comes into a place where nobody dances, and that's the worst thing you could do. Or you do the flash dance where you go to a dance place, but I'm bringing something new and fresh.
Right.
And I'm going to shake up these squares with my wild street dancing. So I think this is a flash dance movie. Right?
Okay. Did they both have Patrick Swayze in them?
No. Right? Kevin Bacon is the other one.
Right. I get them mixed up.
Have you seen those?
No.
I feel like we should be watching those instead of fucking Step Up to the Streets.
Okay.
I'm swearing a lot on this episode.
You are.
Right? I'm just keyed up to talk about
Is it the red velvet pastry stout?
Yes.
So I also had why is this the town from Footloose in my notes because like they seem to be very anti-dance and they're not doing crime.
Well, they do spray paint all of that stuff.
I guess, yeah.
That actually, I thought that was a fun reveal too, because there's one guy in a suit who doesn't break, and everyone runs away, and the cops chase after them, and then you just see him with spray paint on his hands, and it reveals this big mural.
Yeah.
That was great.
That's
that
awesome.
Opening sequence is good.
It's a different
legitimately
movie
good.
than the rest of the movie.
It's not even like funny, it's so bad it's good. It was just pretty good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
But
and
that is the peak.
It was the best dancing in the whole movie.
Agreed, yeah.
Like that, they spent all their money on that first scene.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, we still have 90 minutes of movie left. So
The 410 crew, good dancers.
Yeah.
We only see them dance twice in the movie.
Yeah.
And the 2 best parts of it.
And they are. I wonder if they're like an actual professional dance group.
Oh, that
and
makes
they were
sense.
like too expensive to like really have in the movie a whole bunch.
Do you think professional dance troupes are very expensive?
I don't know.
I feel like if you are the people in the 410 crew, you're doing that for maybe one day you could be in a Step Up movie.
True.
I think that's kind of a big deal.
that is a big deal. But maybe like the professional dancers were just like, they couldn't bring in a whole crew every time.
But this movie did have the kind of probably only dance crew that I know of. They were in this, the Jabberwockies.
Were they in it?
Yeah.
Oh, were they in? When were they?
At the Streets.
Right. That's right. I forgot that there were other crews at the Streets.
Yeah.
Because they made it just all about like the 410 and the dance school crew.
Yeah, what did they call themselves? They had a name, didn't they?
They were like the BLS crew or something. Like the Baltimore Arts School.
I think they were the Blueberry Bunch, weren't they?
Blueberry Bunch, yeah. Okay. Now they're going to be the Blueberry Bunch.
Weren't they called the Snowshoe Kids? Was that them?
No.
Maybe they were the Red Bucket Gang. I think that's what I might have done. Yeah.
Just keep going because this is more fun than what I have to say about the podcast, about the movie. Red Bucket Gang. It's like spray painted on a wall at some point, and I think it's just the initials of the dance school and crew after.
Oh, that's not so fun.
It's not very original or interesting. Not as good as the Red Bucket Crew.
Going back to Andy, she's having all this over-the-top drama with her foster mom.
Yes.
Because everything is like the worst thing. Because dance is like a gateway to mass murder, is how everyone kind of treats it.
Yeah, like what are we actually worried about her doing? Why is dance
You're out
bad?
there dancing all the time. Good.
Yeah, but she's better
So
than doing drugs.
You're committed and hardworking.
Yeah.
And this dance group, no fun.
No fun.
They are hardworking. None of them seem to enjoy it.
The main guy is like mean to everybody.
Oh, you mean Tuck?
Tuck. Your boy Tuck.
Tuck. Everyone in this movie is named like in sitcoms when they would have like a new drug kids were doing in the 90s. There's Tuck, Reef, Stim, Turb.
Yeah, remember I read you like a whole bunch of them in the last episode, and they were all just like kind of sounds or like 4-letter words.
Fuck. That's one of them.
Yeah. Moose. Moose is the other one.
Oh, yeah. Good old Moose.
Good old Moose.
And Andy, she's dressed like Tomb Raider, but she sounds just like Rashida Jones.
She does.
When I was watching this, I was like, I think Rashida Jones is doing the voiceover, but she would be better.
Oh, it's dubbed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Rashida Jones.
I love Rashida Jones. She's hilarious. And such a good actor.
She has this show that was a cop spoof show that I don't think it lasted very long, but it was so good.
What was it called?
Angie Tribeca.
I remember seeing that on Netflix, I think.
I loved it. I completely understand how that comedy is not for everyone, but I thought it was brilliant. But then, fast forward, and she is going to the club, and who does she meet, Samantha?
It's Tyler Gage!
Channing Tatum's here.
He's back! So, I didn't realize when we were watching this the first time, because they don't introduce characters properly, that he's her foster brother from the first movie.
What? No, he's not.
She's the little girl.
No, she's not.
That's what
How?
I read on the internet.
But that's not anywhere in the movie.
No.
I think that's just someone saying that.
But there was some illusion, like, oh, we used to live together, and like,
No,
yeah,
we just watched it. I don't believe it.
I do.
I thought he's just like, hey, you and me, we're both the same because we're both white, and that makes us like the most oppressed people in this movie, in this world, and we always talk about that. And we're both gonna dance our way out of Baltimore.
Dance our way out of Baltimore.
They are. He did. He danced his way right out of Baltimore.
Yeah, so he's still with Nora.
Yeah, and they tour together.
They're on some kind of tour. Is it like Dancing with the Stars live or something? Like,
but they were not. You need stars for that.
Yeah, true.
Like, oh, who are you? I graduated from this dance academy I spent 3 weeks at once.
And this is my girlfriend who is more serious about dance than I am.
Yeah, I taught her how to loosen up a little.
And she taught me how to dance for real.
How to buckle down.
Buckle down.
Loosen up and buckle down. I think that's what their tour is called. It's called Loosen Up and Buckle Down.
Oh, interesting. I'd be into seeing that.
And then he just has a big exposition dump. That's why I don't believe that she's that girl, because he goes on and explains everything. He's like, hey, you know what's going to happen is you're going to get thrown out, and then you have to go to Texas. And you know what's not allowed in Texas? Dancing of any sort.
That's
It's
where
even
Footloose is
worse.
set.
I think it is, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, I assumed it
No,
was like
that's not true.
Arkansas or like Oklahoma or something.
Well, that's right next to Texas.
Yeah. Everyone knows there's no dancing in Oklahoma.
That's true. Spent some time in Norman.
Have you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
But he lays out the whole plot and says, hey, you know what? The only way you're going to not have to go to Texas is if you go to this prestigious academy. And she says, no, but you know what? I'll dance you for it.
Yeah. So he's like, if I win, you have to go audition. And if you win, you can go to Texas. Or she was running away. That's why she's at the club.
Right.
It's because she's running away from home because she doesn't want to go to Texas. So he's like, you can continue running away, I guess. So they dance, and this is the worst use of trampolines I've ever seen.
Yeah, they open it up and there's trampolines in the floor.
And everyone's like, oh, what?
That's exactly what I did.
That's exactly what we did on the couch with the hand motions I just did, even though this is a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm still learning that this is a podcast.
One day. But they don't do fun things with it. They just they do bum drops.
They do a lot of bum drops, and then also they'll like bounce once and then land on the stage again.
Yeah, so they did a few single flips, which is cool.
But like you could do so
But
many
all
cool
of these like
things.
super good dancers were just doing that on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Channing Tatum's big trick is to jump off the trampoline, grab a like hook or like a post, pipe or something, and then hook his shirt onto it. And when he comes down, he's just in his tank top.
Well, everyone knows how much his giant shirts mean to him. So if he's going to take off a giant shirt,
yes,
that is also Tyler Gage's trademark, because in the big finale, he also starts without a giant shirt, puts on a giant shirt, puts on a second gianter shirt, and then takes off both of them. And everyone's like, wow, I've never seen such good shirt work since like young Fred Astaire.
Shirt work.
I think that was his dance crew.
At one point, Tyler does a spin and he looks like one of those like garden flags that like spin in the breeze.
Oh, I thought he looked
the twirly
like
garden flags.
One of those inflatable flailing things outside of car dealerships.
I think a lot of people in this movie looked like that.
A little bit, yeah.
I did enjoy when he twirled. So much clothing.
He's like a windsock.
I was thinking like the twirly ones that are like multiple colors and they spin and they're pretty.
A pinwheel.
Sure.
He won, so then she has to go to school there, but she has to audition, even though it's presumably mid-year.
Again, does this school not have...
And it's so
deadlines?
hard to get into.
Yeah.
But then they're just like, oh, you know what? We're going to invite 10 more people on this one-day audition.
Yeah.
And yeah, then you're just allowed in.
Yeah.
Even though they spend so much time talking about how prestigious it is, how hard it is to get in.
Mm-hmm. And we get to meet Dr. Collins, who is an uptight guy who is brought there to turn amateurs into professionals.
Oh, yeah. So this guy is like the crusty old dean that you see in every 80s and late 70s college movie.
Yes.
But he should be played by a 60-year-old man with a vague British accent. But it's like a young, good-looking guy because everyone in this movie has to be young and good-looking.
Yes.
But he's pushing the extreme because he's like 32 or something.
Yeah, he looks like he's 32. And he is acting harder than anyone else in this movie. Like, there's a couple points in the movie where he's, like, alone in the shot and he's waiting for someone else to come to him. And, like, the way he's standing there, he's acting with every pore. Like, he's, like... I'm just like, relax. You're in a shot by yourself. You don't need to do anything.
He's just giving her.
And he's just like exuding acting out of his every pore.
He's exuding acting. Oh, I got acting all over the place. The director said, just fucking give her, bud.
Yeah, that's
And then
exactly
he
what
did.
he said.
So then in this audition, everyone hates her because she's not doing ballet and technique, because he said, we can all agree technique is the most important. But then his brother is there and is just trying real hard to be the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he says yo and dog in ways that like kind of start sounding offensive after a while.
They do. Some of the language in this movie is like white people trying to be street.
And it doesn't work for that guy well at all. Because he is a talented ballet dancer who just puts on backwards hats. And it's like, no, I'm straight now.
Yeah.
And that is the message of this movie is, Yeah, you just put on a backwards hat and then you are street.
Like a really large hat.
Was the hat large too?
Some of the hats were pretty big for the heads that they were on.
All right.
Andy wears a really big hat in the final scene.
And my note says, does he just like her because she also was wearing a hat? Because in her audition, she's wearing a hat. He's wearing this hat. And he's like, all right, you and me, we're buddies now.
Hat friends.
Yeah.
Hat friends forever.
He was also undercover at the trampoline dance.
Trampoline club?
Yeah.
Club
Why?
trampoline?
Who knows?
I don't know. And yeah, so like they give him this mysterious air because he walks past her and he's like, good moves out there, and then disappears in his black hoodie.
Yeah.
And
black
then,
hat and a black hoodie.
Again.
Wearing both of them.
At the audition, he's there like being mysterious with his hood up and everything. But then she meets him later when she gets into the school and he's all like golden superstar boy.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was the same guy.
No,
honestly.
me neither.
When he's wearing his Unabomber outfit, he looks scary.
He does.
That looks like a threatening man, and she should tell somebody.
Yes. Do not allow grown men to approach you. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it seemed like he was going to abduct her and take her to a second location.
Yes.
That was my fear. But also my hope for the movie, because that would be interesting.
Let's get some plot in here.
And then she goes to rehearse with her buddies at the 410, and they're like, hey, no cell phones. You need to take this more seriously. Why is everyone always busy in the middle of the day? And like, oh, because we're all high school students.
Yeah. And he's like, rehearsal, 4 p.m. every day. No excuses. No phones. No fun. Only dance.
Yeah.
Only unfun dance.
Fucking talk.
Then Andy gets in trouble in class and has to go to 4 p.m. rehearsals with Dr. Collins every day after school.
Oh, no. Do you remember her having lunch the first day?
Yes.
They just keep showing this garbage can that it seems like straight out of a slapsticky comedy.
Yeah.
Because they show the garbage can and there's just food flying near it.
Yeah.
It's very cartoonish, and I guess the joke is nobody can hit the garbage can.
And then that table is like undesirable because it's like touching the garbage can.
Yeah, and I think you sit there and you just get like pelted with pizza crusts and banana peels.
All day.
Which Moose does. Then we get to meet Moose.
I liked Moose.
Moose is good.
Moose was funny.
I don't know about that.
He was a much needed like fun element to the movie.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, because everyone else is very dire.
And they're taking everything so deathly seriously. And Moose is just like, I'm a nerd. I like dancing, but I'm in this other faculty. So
yeah, he's there for, I think, light and design.
Yeah, he's like
and
backstage.
He's secretly the best dancer around.
Yeah.
You'd think being at a dance academy, that would come out.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, oh, I see you're all dancing all the time, all day long. Mm-hmm. And I'm just lighting you guys. Look what I could do. You'd think it'd come up.
Yeah, or like, I feel like those dance schools aren't that like rigid and restrictive that you can't like try out for a class.
Yeah, they're letting people in every day.
Take a dance class. Just like go ahead. And then someone will be like, hey, you can really dance. You should like take this other dance class. And then you get into the dance faculty. There, I solved their problem.
And she gets to meet Chase now without his hat. And she just hates him. No real reason.
Yeah,
he's really trying
so
to help her out. And it's kind of because of him that she got to be in the school and not shipped off to Texas.
Yeah. And then
But-
she does that like awkward like high school movie thing where she's like, Moose, remember that thing you told me? Yeah, we
What
got to
thing?
go to that thing.
I don't
Remember
know
you
what thing.
told me.
No, I clearly don't remember.
No, like, let's go. And she's like shoving him away. So it's so obvious. And it was very awkward to watch and I hated it.
Yeah, she's not a particularly good actor.
Mm-mm.
Is she a good dancer?
Did she really dance in this movie?
She does a lot of chopping, like air chopping.
Yeah,
with her
there's a
hands.
lot of hand chopping and like,
Shoulder thrusting.
yeah, and then like chest thrusting.
And I wouldn't have thought she was bad, but they show the 410 crew who are good.
Yeah.
And it makes it apparent when people aren't as good.
Yes.
Because I'm no student in this. I'm no Maria. I really hope she listens to
Yeah,
this
me
one.
too.
I'm not going to say anything to her. I feel like I should just let it go. And then if she brings up like, hey, you talked about me a lot the other day.
We love you, Maria.
We do. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
So like an actual person who knows what they're talking about, I'm sure could break it down and say like, oh, what she's doing is very impressive. And it is impressive. I can't do it for sure.
Oh, yeah, no.
But relative to these other people, she just doesn't look as good to me.
No, not at all. And she always looks like she's exerting a lot of effort.
That is true. She's
Like she constantly looks like she's like, ooh, like
Yeah.
trying to exert as much energy as she can. And it just looks uncomfortable to watch.
There's no fluidity or
No.
smoothness. And I get that's not what breakdancing is. But when you look at the 410 or the Jabberwockies,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's how it looks. Because good everything, if you're a great skater, runner, dancer, you make hard things look effortless.
Yes. And you have a
She
style.
makes everything look full of effort.
Oh, God. It's so much effort. in this
It hurts
movie.
my neck to watch
Yeah.
it. Because I'm like, that looks painful.
So like you were saying, the Jabberwockies or Jabba or Jabber.
BBA, I believe. It's Jabba.
Jabberwockies. Okay. They have like a style in their crew. And like, I'm sure the 410 also, they all have a style. Whereas she looks like she's just doing all the styles and she's trying to like.
She's just moving a lot very quickly.
For no reason. There's no like consensus to it. And I think that's why I didn't like it. Did you like the improvisation dance scene?
That didn't make any sense. And she's also like a dick to her teachers. She's there presumably on a full scholarship.
Yeah.
Based on about 30 seconds of dancing.
Yes.
After she got thrown out of her last school, and she would get thrown out of the state if she doesn't get in.
You have to go to Texas.
And still, she's like, I'm not fucking doing this. Fuck you and your dance academy. You go to that dance academy. Yeah, she's kind of a dick.
I've never been asked to improvise in a dance class.
Oh, well, you don't go to the, whatever it's called, the Maryland Institute of the Arts or something like that?
Yeah.
MIA? Is it called MIA?
I don't think so.
I like that better.
I think it's Baltimore School of Chess Dancing.
Oh, the BSCD.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
BSCD.
Yeah.
Why does that already sound
could
like more impressive than like whatever it was? Red Bucket Kids. So Andy gets kicked out of the 410 because she's busy with like school, teenager things.
Yeah, because they're like, where were you all day? She's like, well, I was at school.
school.
We are all high school students. Where were you all day? And they're like, how you go to school? How dare you?
How dare you?
We don't do that on the 410. They don't. They're all illiterate.
Are they?
It's kind of sad. That's why it's 410, and they don't write anything out because they can't spell it. It's really sad, actually.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
Really, this movie is a commentary on the poor state of the American public school system. I assume that's the area code of Baltimore.
I assume so. That's kind of what I thought without actually looking it up.
I think it's the number of people in the crew.
So Andy's sad and Chase cheers her up because, again, he's just a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty good
He's
guy.
like, I want to be your friend. I see you're sad. Let me.
I also want to be street. Can you teach me how to be street? You're wearing a hat, so I assume you're street.
Am I
I'm not
street
sure what that
now?
means.
I'm wearing a hat
Am
now.
I using that word right? Street? Street zzz with a Z.
And she's like, oh my God, please stop.
No, she probably does the same thing.
Probably. And Chase is nice, and he points out all the people in their school that would be good additions to a dance crew.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts. The compiling of a ragtag team.
Yes.
It's good on Mighty Ducks. It's good on Bad News Bears. I love it. Everyone brings like a specific little thing that they can do. And I think it's great. I love that premise. It's worked so many times. It's not fully done here.
No, it is not. Like, I want to know more. Like I said in the beginning, I don't think the character development was good.
No, well, there isn't any. But I feel like in a movie like this, I'd be fine if there wasn't. You give everyone a thing, but you play up that thing a lot. So all of them, they do the whole, school is crushing their creativity and all of that, which is, yeah, fine. That makes sense. It makes sense for her character. She should be able to relate to that. Never talked about again. And one of the guys is a stuntman. He goes to the dance academy for stunts, I guess.
Like, is that a thing?
No, it's not. But if in their dancing, they incorporated that. Like, maybe he's always doing things where it looks like he gets hurt and he's fine. Sure. Like, play up the things that you said. That's their character. Because we don't learn anything else about them outside of this one little introduction. Use that one little introduction.
Yeah.
Sure, you're not going to fully flesh out all these characters.
No.
It's a 90-minute dance movie. I'm fine with that, really. But give them one characteristic that follows them through.
Yeah.
Also, he's a stuntman in plays. How does that work?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that scene.
You can't be a stuntman in a play. Like, you fall and then a guy comes and just like tags you out?
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
That's not how live theater works.
No, that's not how
movie
stunt people work.
magic. That's movie magic. We don't do that in plays. So they commit their first crime at this point in the movie. They steal a school key, copy it, and then like sneak into school after hours.
But it's cool because Chase kind of owns the school.
Kinda, yeah.
His family owns the school, I think.
Or something? Or they like are the board of directors?
Yeah, because his brother is the whatever.
King.
Yeah, he's school king. And this guy is school prince.
Yeah. And that's why he's always lit in such a dreamy way.
Oh.
So they sneak into school. They secretly practice their routine at night when the school is empty.
So somewhere in there, they have a battle at the club, the club that we've been seeing. So actually, we get to see the 410 3 times. And I think it was it might have just been somebody else, but whoever they were legitimately impressive. And again, I was like, okay, that's a good dance sequence. Mm-hmm. And then the Red Bucket kids come in and they do their bit and everyone boos them because it was really bad.
It was bad.
But they make a point of it being bad. It's not poorly done by accident. They acknowledge that this is bad and they get booed out of there.
Right.
And then they start talking about the streets. Mm-hmm. And the streets, you would think, just means the actual streets.
Yeah.
No, it's the name of a dance contest that is held not on any streets.
It's in a building.
Yes.
At the club, in fact.
How do people register for the streets, Samantha?
You have to do a prank and post it on the internet.
But that doesn't even get you in because it can happen at any time in any place.
Yeah. So
nobody knows when it is or where it is, but everyone's practicing for it.
You just have to be consistently ready.
Yeah.
What if they called it early one year and like no one had a dance together yet?
Well, yeah, there's no real, it could be any time.
Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, I want to know the logistics of putting together this event.
Yeah.
How does it work? How do they make money?
How do they procure like insurance?
Do they have a liquor license?
I assume
they're all high school
not,
students,
because everybody's in high school.
They don't have food. How are they making money? Do they make money? Is it just for the fun of it?
Is
it's
it
just
cover?
for the streets.
Do they make money through cover?
Oh, that makes sense.
So then you go and dance and like you pay your $10 and you get to go dance. It's like open gym.
But if it is profit model, they have to have some sort of consistency of where it is and when it is.
True.
Because are you just texting everyone in Baltimore? It's happening here? That doesn't make it secret.
No.
How do you get on the list to find out about the streets?
Yeah, how did they get their phone numbers?
That's a very good question.
That's one thing I hadn't.
Or does someone just tell someone like, hey, streets are tomorrow, and then everyone's like, all right. And it's not even tomorrow, it's tonight.
It's tonight at the club.
Yeah, they just give an address.
Yeah.
Not even an address, a street cross section. But yeah, they have to make a prank video because that's a thing. And we get to see their video, and it starts off, I actually liked it.
Yeah.
Because they're just making fun of Tuck.
Yeah.
Because Tuck's so serious, so they have all these shots. They follow him around. They stalk Tuck.
Yeah. So first crime, or second crime of the movie.
But this one, it's a light crime, because they're not really doing anything to him.
Like
they're
levity.
They're just photographing him without his permission.
Yeah.
It's cool, because he's in public.
He's in public.
At first.
Yeah.
And they dance behind him and stuff, and I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's fun.
The next part of the prank video is they break into his house.
Third crime, breaking and entering.
They break into his house and kind of like mess things up and hide fish.
And like vandalism. I would say that's vandalism.
Yeah, it's B&E at least.
So there's like 4 crimes committed by this like private school crew, and then the 410s are the ones that are like dangerous.
Yeah.
These people are like breaking and entering people's houses.
We'll probably get into it at some point. But yeah, the premise is all of these kids who are predominantly white who go to a private school give a big speech about how oppressed they are and they should be able to belong anywhere.
Yes.
And commit crimes. And then the black crew who is just really hardworking and take things, probably too seriously.
But they're like putting their heart and soul
That's all they do.
That's all they do.
And they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Anyway.
Then they go to a backyard party at, what's her name? Andy's friend?
Missy.
At Missy's place. And that was kind of fun.
Yeah. I liked the dance sequence that they did.
Yeah.
There's like kind of a group dance sequence. And I kind of realized at this point that the leads have no chemistry at all.
No, they don't.
Andy and Chase, every single time they're in a scene together, I feel like it's the first time they've met.
I kind of blame Andy more.
Yes, she's not good.
Chase, I think, is fine for what he's doing. He doesn't have a lot to work with, but I never was like, why would you talk like that? That's not how humans talk.
But
I'd said that a few times
like
with her.
Monologues where it's like...
She also gets brutal lines to say.
She does.
So first, the writing is the biggest problem, but yeah, the acting isn't strong
She's
either.
a 15-year-old girl who's saying something that a 40-year-old man wrote for her.
Seems like it.
Thinking this is what 15-year-old girls say.
Yeah. And usually it's telling black people how to respect white people. And how that they should be inclusive and respect her.
Stay in your lane, step up to the streets.
I don't understand why there was romance between them. We get that there has to be because it's a movie, but nothing they do in this movie indicates that they like each other.
Yeah.
Except he's nice to her, but he's kind of nice to everyone, it seems.
Yeah, that's
seems
very
like a pretty
true.
all right guy.
Yeah.
She's mean to him specifically, and that's why they're in love. And they're about to kiss in a tree.
In a tree while hanging lights after the party.
But then somebody turns on a light, and they're like, oh, there's light on us. And then they don't kiss. And they won't for weeks now. Because a light turned on.
Yeah. So Tuck doesn't like that there was a fish left in his house.
No, he doesn't like it. You know what? He got a little upset that people broke into his house.
And vandalized it. Yeah. And so they warn Andy's crew, the Red Bucket kids, that they aren't allowed at the streets and that they need to stay away or else.
Or else what?
Or else they'll outdance them.
No, they're going to beat him up, remember?
Oh, right, yes.
They beat him up.
So then Tuck beats up Chase in the street.
The streets.
The streets, sorry. In the streets. And they just kind of leave him on a sidewalk. And then he somehow gets home and goes to school the next day and is wearing a hoodie and a shirt and a hat.
It's his trademark look.
And is trying to be all mysterious again.
But really, he got punched in the face once and in the stomach a few times. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you should beat people up, but he also did break into someone's house.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's innocent in this.
No. Like we said, the private school kids commit way more crimes in this movie.
They started it.
Yeah.
But then the 410 crew smashes up their school or one of their dance studios and they spray paint it up.
Yeah. So this is really the first actual crime the 410 have done.
Well, they beat up that guy.
Other than beating up that guy.
Other than beating up that guy. But they probably just wanted a scholarship.
Probably.
Because we learned from Step Up 1, if you smash up the academy, you get a scholarship there. It changes your life and you dance your way right out of Baltimore.
And then you're a famous dancer on tour.
Oh, no, wait, that's if you're white.
Oh.
Again, clearly not intentional because this movie doesn't think that hard about anything.
No.
But what literally happens is Channing Tatum does the exact same thing and is the hero of a whole movie and gets a scholarship and then goes on to be a professional dancer. And they do it and they're the villains.
Very true.
It's not even Indy going on about his race politics stuff.
No, I'm
that's
agreeing
just what
with
happens
you.
in
It's
this movie.
literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Also, this school gets broken into a lot.
Yeah, they need to... Well, they just had that one security guard.
And one set of keys.
Well, everyone has a key.
Apparently.
And you can just go in any of those windows we learned.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
They probably just asked Tyler how to get in. And he's like, oh, it's real easy. Just go in any of the windows.
They were like, tell us about your time at the Baltimore land of dancing.
Oh, the BLD, yeah.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, yeah, it was great. I smashed this window and then we had all this fun. And then they offered me a scholarship.
Now I'm rich.
Now I'm rich.
Now I'm fucking G.I. Joe.
Director Collins, Dr. Collins,
Dr. Director Collins.
Dr. Director Collins, Dr. Director King Collins. He's forbidding anyone from taking part in the streets or any competition like the streets.
If you dance outside of this school, you're expelled.
Yes.
So now he, at a dance academy, is being the mayor from the Footloose town and like outlawing dancing.
It's like forbidding people to dance. These people who go to school to dance. So he then expels Andy from the school. She doesn't rat out the crew. She doesn't tell him who else was with her.
Yeah.
She just danced 17 parts by herself.
And then we get this sad montage, which was a lot of fun because it's just all of the dancers walking around and looking at the floor.
Like, you can still be friends.
You all go to the same school.
Yeah.
You can dance at school all day long or at least like have lunch or something.
Yeah.
But they're all just separate and alone and looking down. It's terrible.
And they're all like in the same hallways and stuff. Like they're in each other's proximity.
They see each other and then look down and are sad
and
that
like
they
walk
can't
away.
dance.
Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad little montage.
You know what else is sad? That they are holding this big fundraiser because there's going to be a new school because their old one keeps getting broken into and vandalized.
State of the art.
And they give scholarships away to everyone. So they need a fundraiser because they give away like 20 scholarships a day. So they need a bunch of money. They hold this fundraiser and everyone has to be part of it. Are they all dancing there? No, they're servers.
They're waiters.
They're walking around with plates of hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
Which was very sad to me that their school forces them to serve rich people.
Yeah. That's
Except for the rich people. Like the rich guy, he still just kind of looks out over everyone.
Yeah.
What's his name? Chase.
Chase. I think he was in a dance. Like they were going to perform.
Right.
And then he just leaves.
Yeah.
In the middle of getting ready to perform.
Yeah, because they get the message, streets tonight. And then they all are like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And they get the crew back together. They're like, we're going to go street it up now. But Moose doesn't go.
No.
It was weird. They just didn't tell him, I think.
Oh, poor Moose.
I know.
Moose is like the heart of that team.
He really was.
And Andy is getting ready to go to Texas.
Yeah.
And she's sadly packing her bags. And then she gets the text that the streets is on. But instead of going and finding the crew, she waits for the crew to come to her and to convince her to go to the streets. Because she's so sad she can't dance.
Yeah. And she's like, you're going to ruin your, I don't know, presumably careers or get expelled.
Yeah.
You don't want to turn out like me and have to go to Texas.
Texas is the worst. You're nodding like, yes, it is the worst.
Well, Texas is the Alberta of the United States.
True. Very true.
Alberta is the Texas of Canada. So for those of you who don't know where we are, I think that's a good explanation of it.
I feel like everyone knows a lot about Alberta now.
No.
Yeah.
We get a good bit of Japanese listeners. Do you think they know Alberta?
No, probably not. You're right.
Do you think Americans know Alberta?
Maybe a bit.
They don't.
No?
No.
They don't care?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes me feel better.
Around Canada, we have that
well
reputation.
Known, yes.
Yeah.
Andy's guardian overhears what the crew is saying and how they're like proud of her for not like
snitching on them.
And
because Chase is like, remember, Andy, snitches good stitches.
I don't think that he ever said that in this
Didn't
movie.
he?
No.
That would have been better if he did.
Probably.
It's a more fun movie.
That would have been a better line. And so Andy's guardian is like, go compete at the streets.
Yeah. You've already thrown away your future. Might as well take these kids with you.
Yeah. There's tens of thousands of dollars worth of tuition with you.
And they go, and we get to see the 410 crew first.
Uh-huh.
And they're good.
They are so good. Like, I don't know this type of dance very well, like I said. But, like, I can appreciate what they did. It was really well done.
I think you don't have to know it well.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can appreciate it at a different level, but it's just impressive looking. Mm-hmm. It's cohesive. It flows. And, yeah, it's not smooth like ballet, but that's the difference between, like, smooth and flowing. There's... Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess more cohesive thoughts to their dance than what we see later.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's smooth and flowing, like you said.
It was great.
It was
They're
great.
very good.
They were fantastic. They were cohesive. Everybody seemed to have one style of dance.
It's almost like they practiced every day and Tucky yelled at them if they didn't.
Yeah. Exactly. We also see some other dance crews, like the Jabberwockies and this goth crew.
Oh, yeah.
There's like goth girl crew happening.
From what I know of goths in my high school days, not a lot of dancing.
Yeah.
They just do the head down shuffle dance.
So Andy's whole crew is told that they're not street. This is a neighborhood battle. You can't be here. And Andy gives this like really bad pump up speech.
She stops a crowd in the middle of a giant party just by standing up and proceeds to explain why their neighborhood and their traditions don't matter, and she deserves their traditions as much as they do. She effectively gives an inspirational speech about how cultural appropriation is awesome.
She does.
Right?
Yes.
And she explains, like, look, you guys don't know, but we're really oppressed here at this private school.
Yeah.
You guys might not know about it living in inner city Baltimore.
Yeah.
But let me explain it to you.
You don't understand oppression.
Let me explain it to you of how this is ours now.
Yeah. I feel like she threw a few you people in here too.
She may as well have. It was rough.
It was awful. And so then she's like, we're going to be doing our thing on the actual streets. And then a thunderstorm starts right as they're walking outside.
And I just complained about how stupid all of that was.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
They're going to go dance and they turn off the lights and it's raining and it's just car headlights. Great.
Cool.
That is a great scene. I'm here for it.
I want to see the 410 dance.
If it's anything like that dance we just saw,
Yeah.
that was a lead up to this main event that everything is leading for, this is going to be fucking awesome. It's raining. It looks cool. It kind of looks a little bit like Batman versus Superman. There's not much color in it. Most of this movie, very blue.
Yeah, and then
color,
like pops of red.
The color grading in this is like modern Zack Snyder.
Okay.
Someone out there was like, oh, okay, I understand what that means. Actually, a lot of people watch those DC movies for some reason.
Yeah.
Just so dark, so
blue.
blue.
Like DC. Yeah. Okay. That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Unnecessarily dark.
And then just
and
like
this looks
a
like
few
that
pops
too.
of color. Yeah.
Yeah. This was like that. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. It wasn't.
No. They looked like amateurs. They looked like they shouldn't be at that dance competition.
No. And it was the opposite of what we were talking about a cohesive dance all the way through. There were so many times where they all just stop.
Yeah.
And then different music starts. They had a terrible DJ or whoever made this song because they would just stop a song and then start another one. And they did that about 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
So there's no flow to it.
In cheerleading, you have things going all the time in your routine so that if one part of your team is setting up for the next thing, there's someone else doing something else that kind of distracts your eye for it so that they can get all set up. But they didn't have any of that. It was like one person dancing at a time. And then they just like stop dancing and switch.
They do so many moves that involve everyone freezing.
Yeah.
Which is very cool when you do it once and everyone is moving.
Yeah.
But if you only have one person moving at a time consistently, it just seems like you're out of shape and you need a lot of breathers.
It's like they just needed a rest.
Yeah.
So during this rain sequence, the popular girl shows up at the streets.
Oh, yeah. She's one character that I actually liked because it was a little different than what they usually do. She was the ex of the male lead, so we think she's going to be a jerk. And she was kind of for the first half, but then she comes out to the party and she's just like really nice and just wants to know what's going on.
Yeah. She just wants to be like friends with them.
Yeah. She seems pretty great.
And
better
also
than Andy.
Oh, way better than Andy.
Who's a dick for no reason.
No reason.
Chase should have gone back to her.
Yeah.
But she moves on to someone better because then she makes out with Moose. Moose.
So Dr. Director Collins goes in search of his students because they've left the fundraiser.
Yeah, and he has to leave the most important event because he's like, well, I have to go find them at somewhere where I don't know where they're going, but I just stumble upon it.
And it was just announced tonight.
Yeah. Well, I guess everyone in Baltimore got the text.
Yes, that's right. It was mass texting.
And he goes in his suit and gets really wet. He doesn't have the benefit of wearing tiny shirts like Andy does through this whole movie. I think they spent their shirt budget on part 1 with all of the material that Channing Tatum was wearing. They had so many giant shirts that they're like, all right, best I can offer you is this crop top or like a tube top.
Here's this bra.
Yeah, that's all we have
that's all
left.
you get. I'm sorry.
Channing Tatum took all the material. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, when you're in a movie with Channing Tatum, you have to give him the wardrobe budget.
Yeah, he gets all the shirt material.
But he's only in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but do you see how big that shirt was?
It was so large. It was like 7 shirts.
14 of her shirts.
Yeah. So Dr. King Director Collins shows up at the streets. And
the actual street this time.
Yeah, because they're actually in the street. And he gets really wet. And then he realizes he has this like weird little epiphany moment.
He's like, oh, they're dancing.
Yeah. Where he realizes that like street dancing is a legitimate form of dancing.
As long as it's done by white private school kids.
Yes. And so Andy gets back into the school.
Yeah, he just goes, good work out there. I'll see you Monday
in
at
my
school.
Class. Yeah.
And she's like, well, I don't have to move to Texas. I already bought my ticket and I have a place there, but I'm sure
and I'm packed.
But whatever.
And Moose gets to be in the faculty.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, Moose, your lighting is terrible anyways.
We were gonna
you
kick
use
out.
so many fucking gobos, Moose. All the theater tech people are like, gobos!
I love a good gobo.
I don't.
Or a gel.
Oh, I do love a good gel.
Sorting gels was my least favorite part of
Well,
tech.
now there's so many lights that, like, for a while ago, like the stuff I own even is color temperature variable, but now there's full RGB lights, so you program it. You don't need gels.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we have a mixing board at work that does all of it, so it's on a board. All the colors.
Oh my god, that would be so much easier.
It's fucking nuts.
I remember going up on ladders and like changing gels for a show and like
there's 3 theater kids out there right now like, holy shit, they have that now?
I'm excited.
And wireless.
What?
Yeah, they don't have to be hardlined into the board. There's these little like XLR looking plugs that are wireless. It's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's what I get to work on when I made a puppet video with a sassy penguin.
Sassy penguin.
People are like, what is this guy's job?
I want to go back to school and do tech theater again, but I want to do it with this technology. I spent so much time crawling around in the top of the theater at Vic and just like running cable with people.
Oh, I never did tech. When people would be like, hey, can you do this? I'd be like, oh, I don't do tech. Like, can you just open the door for me then? I was like, what did I just say?
I don't do tech. I did backstage stuff. So there's like a weird happy ending at the end of this. Everyone gets a boyfriend.
And everyone dances, but there's no music playing, but they're all dancing in the rain.
Right. I forgot it's like a club party outside and there's no music in the background.
It's a silent party.
It's so strange. I hate it.
And then they kiss, and the music is very inappropriate. It's from like a romantic movie from the late 70s, and there's lots of violin, and it all swells, and the orchestra goes for it, and we're all happy now.
Yeah, apparently. They use musical cues in this, like a classic romantic comedy where they like tell you how to feel based on the music.
Yeah, and
but
the
it's
choice
really
of music
inappropriate
is,
for what's actually happening on the screen. Like she's giving her inspirational speech, and they do that like big symbol and like dun dun dun, dun and like she's giving this like beginning of the war kind of speech.
I think it's appropriate. That's what they're going for.
Right.
But that music does not fit within the world of this movie.
No.
Like, why wouldn't you go with something that, if your whole premise is this is about street dancing, why would your score be so grand and orchestral?
Yeah.
Very strange choice.
Yeah, it was kind of strange, and it happened all the way through.
Yeah, it was like the Henry V once more into the breach speech. It was that music. It's Shakespearean war tragedy.
And she, like, the end should be like, ha! And everyone like throws their fist in the air and cries out in support. Yeah. But that's not what happens. She just goes outside and dances.
Yeah.
In the streets.
The end.
The end. That was not a great movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
It had its fun moments. I still don't like it.
No, the ragtag team is the easiest place where you could have made this movie better. Lean into each one of them being a thing. Do the thing where, like, I'm a goth kid, nobody gets me, but I can dance, sure. And then the one who's like, I can't speak English, but I do speak the international language. No, not love. Dance. And then we have her doing that, and then one kid is like, oh, I just played Dance Dance Revolution all the time, but I'm a tech person, but I can dance. And then they each have like a thing and lean into that more.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't, and then they
bears it.
They all teach each other, and they get to be the front of the triangle when they're dancing, their crew, and like,
and then you incorporate all of these styles together, and that's what this whole story's about.
And then they beat the 410.
No, but they don't technically compete in the streets, and everyone reacts like they won, but they were clearly not the best dancers.
No, absolutely not. The goth crew was better.
Yeah, and 410 was the best.
Yeah.
So, recommendation? Yes, no?
I could say skip it.
If you like dance movies, watch it. If you're like, whatever, fast forward through it.
Yeah, just
watch the first 10 minutes. Here's what I should say. Get the movie, watch it until you get bored.
Okay.
If you get bored 15 minutes in, you know what? It's not going to get much better.
No.
The first 5 minutes is pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Yeah, just, it's like YouTube, the opening dance.
Yeah, or you could see the rain dance is kind of fun. Yeah. It looks cool. It's not a great dance, though.
It's not. And, like, the rain makes it cooler than it actually is.
Yeah, and I think they knew that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of fun because it is not just a dance. It's a dance movie, and they're doing something new. I was going to say, like, when was the last time you saw a guy do, like, a full dance in the rain? I was like, oh, shit, singing in the rain. Gene Kelly was very good.
Yeah, it's classic.
I think doing these last two Step Up movies with you, it makes me want to do a dance movie.
Yeah,
because there's a few dance movies I like. I love Singing in the Rain. I like a lot of Gene Kelly ones. I like a lot of Astaire ones. And of course, I love Funny Face. I think I've actually talked about that on this podcast before. So there's a lot of good options out there. And plus, then you get into the 80s. Fun 80s dance movies, too. Oh, we should do Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Breakin' 2?
Electric Boogaloo.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say the beginning again.
Breakin'
2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
Whenever somebody says a sequel to something, I usually either say To the Streets.
Yes.
Or I say Electric Boogaloo.
Yes,
because,
you do.
Yeah. Did you even know that was a real movie?
No. I just assumed you were saying fun words. Like
Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's, you know what? It's kind of this movie, but better. But it's bad. It's a bad movie. Lots of fun, though.
Okay.
There's kids that have to, like, dance to save a community center, that whole thing.
I love when people have to dance to save things.
In 80s movies? So wow. Now I see something that I didn't notice before. In all 80s movies, ski, dance, whatever, there's some rich jerks who are trying to, like, shut the place down. And then this ragtag team has to come together and save it.
Oh,
They do that all the time. Yeah. This is all of the rich kids going to the streets and saying, like, you guys are doing this wrong. This is the antithesis of all of that. And I said, I can't remember what we were watching. Maybe it was just talking about...
Electric Boogaloo?
It's a Wonderful Life or something like that. When I said, I remember when the rich guys were the bad guys in the movies. Yeah. And that's kind of the opposite of what you get most of the time now. You're like, no, Iron Man's cool. He's a rich millionaire, plays by his own rules, and solves wars by himself. And you're like, oh, that's not cool.
Not great, because he also kind of starts the wars.
Yeah, he just goes in and is the full army and executioner to all sorts of evil.
Yeah.
But we're like, no, it's cool, though. Robert Downey Jr. And, you know, he's pretty charming in those movies.
Pretty charming.
And I'm on board with it. But then when you think about it, not cool.
Not cool. It's not cool to go and just, like, take over someone's town.
Yeah. I think we should end it there with this great message from Samantha. It's not cool to go just take over someone's town.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't be mean.
Don't be mean.
Stay in your own town.
Well, that's now you're sounding not great.
Oh, sorry. No, I meant...
Hey, you stay in your own town. Get out of my town. This is for us.
No, that's not what I meant.
I think we should leave it with don't take over people's towns.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Period.
Unless it's through dance.
Yeah.
If you just dance and everyone's like, man, I want to be like him and dance like that, then that's allowed.
Yeah, and then they move towns.
Yeah, or if you take it over because it's a no dance town and then you come and you show them your dancey ways.
Is that Footloose?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know if they take over. Well, it's a cultural revolution.
It is a cultural revolution because all the children dance then.
Yes. Until next time, may all your revolutions be cultural revolutions. Or bloodless coups. All defenestrations.
Okay.
I love a good defenestration. That's also one of my favorite words.
That's an interesting word. It sounds kind of gross, but kind of cool.
I guess it is.
Yeah.
And the action also, if you don't know, it means to throw someone out of a window. The action also kind of gross, but kind of cool.
Yeah.
I remember doing the tour of the Prague Castle, and they're talking about like, yeah, it was a bloodless coup. They just threw the people out the windows.
They defenestrated.
Yeah, so much defenestration.
I feel like that would result in some blood.
Well, I think they just mean like they didn't shoot and like stab people. They just threw them out the window.
Okay, like they didn't like murder somebody.
Oh no, they murdered them
with their own hands.
Well, they used their hands to throw them out the window.
I don't get it.
All right. Well, I don't think we've talked about this movie in a while. So, Samantha, who's our second sponsor of the day?
Our second sponsor of the day is ATB, Alberta Treasury Branch. They make banking work for you by offering both expert and practical advice in saving, budgeting, and paying off debt. And though your financial situation and the economy may change over time, you can be confident that your money is safe and secure with ATB. They have a history of doing what's right for their clients, especially when times are tough, because ATB was built to help Albertans. For more information, visit atb.com.
Well, be sure to join us here again next week, where we will each have a spoiler-free review for our Things of the Week, and I will review our movie for the next big watch.
I'm so excited. I hope it's dancey.
It's not. I've already decided it, and there's something we do that you like, but I say like, oh, but I can't just do all of that, so I'm only going to do one for every 50 episodes. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but...
I think I know what it is.
Okay, people out there might know as well, all of our diehard fans.
Yes.
All three of them.
We love all of you.
Yep. Yeah, write us a note or something. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, email. We got all of that. We're easy to find. Let us know that you listen. You could just message, hey, I listened. And I'll be like, oh, awesome.
Good
great.
job.
Nice.
You occasionally find out some surprise listeners at your work.
Yeah. Not as popular as I was with our old crew, but still, there's a few of them.
Yeah. Shout out to Indy's new crew.
Yeah. Well, no, because they're not listening. The old crew is listening.
Oh, right.
The Rusty Van Gang.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, we'll see you next week. Bye.
They got served the first time in the club.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got served this time.
They totally did.
They got served burgers and fries.
Did they?
Well, that's not a good thing.
Oh.
No, you don't want that.
Oh, but I do want burgers and
they're
fries.
They're not literal.
Oh, hypothetical burgers and fries.
Yeah, he got served.
We don't want that.
No.
No.
It's like getting F'd in the A.